Hey, this is Pete from Abstract Ocean. Today we're going to install the Model 3 door control decals. So for this you're going to need a squeegee and wipes, which will come in the pack, and then also in the pack are obviously the door decals. So we give you one set that's weeded and one that is not, and we talk about that a bit later in the video. This is not difficult, it's just fiddly, so we're going to give this a sort of a 3 pushing 4, just because it requires a bit more patience and some of the pieces are quite delicate to install, but definitely achievable. The easier vinyls are definitely the textured ones, so carbon fiber, which comes in black or white, or the matrix black, and then you also have the brush finishes as well. The more challenging vinyls are going to be the satin white, so if you're looking to match your performance interior, that's definitely the one we'd recommend. But it just requires a bit more patience to get it installed. With that said, let's jump over to the install. Hey, this is Pete from Abstract Ocean. Today we're going to install the Model 3 door control decals, finally. In the pack you get the wipes, you get the soft squeegee as usual, and then you get 2 versions of the door decals. The first version we've weeded for you, and I'll explain what weeding is in a minute. And then you get a whole second set for free, just in case you have any issues with the first set. We just provide one that's weeded and one that's not, just because for this particular product, the weeding is what takes the time, so that actually adds to the cost. So to keep the cost down, we do one, you do one, and then everyone's happy. So with that said, we're gonna start on the driver's door, work our way around, and show you how to do it. All right, so we are at the driver's door. We're going to give it a quick clean. I'm not going to bore you with this for every door, but I think you know how to clean a piece of plastic. But these are just the standard alcohol wipes. And just get any grunge basically off of the door controls. Same up here. We already have our buttons on here, so I'm not going to remove those. We do provide vinyl that covers this area as well, if you want to just stick with the vinyl. But we like these, so we're going to keep that on there for now. You'll find them on the website if you're interested. Alright. So the anatomy of the vinyl, kind of left to right, so we're going to start with the driver's door decals here, then you've got passenger left, passenger right, and then front passenger right on the end here. We're going to start with this larger piece. Just be a little careful, it's not joined at the top, so it's fairly easy for it to get stretched if you're not careful. And then we're going to drop it on. So the reference points are all different for each of these pieces. I'm going to go slow to let the camera come around, but what we're really looking for here is a little sort of where the curve breaks on here, match it up with that. So I'm going to put that down here. The bits you need to be worried about, obviously, you know, look for this line, make sure it's tracking the opening for the buttons pretty well. Across here, anything on this back piece we could just tuck in anyway, so that's not such a worry. We want to get this front piece right. We're doing this in about 70 degrees, which is about as warm as we want it. Any warmer and the vinyl gets a bit too stretchy, and you definitely don't want the vinyl to be stretchy for this stuff, so try and do it when it's in the 60s or low 20s, late teens in Celsius. So I'm just going to work this around here. And bring it around. As I say, this back edge we're going to worry about last because we just tuck that in. So we're really just looking for a nice clean line along here, and it's still vinyl, so you can put it around a little bit if you need to, just to encourage it into the right spots. Grab the squeegee. So we're going to just tuck it under the back here. Just bring it around. Like that. Get it nice and tidy. As with all the vinyl, even though it may look like it's flat down, make sure you squeegee it all out. If you have any air trapped in there, when it gets warmer or cooler, the air will expand or contract and you'll start to see bubbles. So just be pretty diligent with the squeegee. Then for these last bits, we just want to kind of just tuck that down like that. I'm left-handed, but doing this right-handed for the camera. Okay. That's that first bit. Now we're gonna do the manual door release button. It's pretty easy. Just pick that off. And for this one, we're going to line up on this edge and then just roll it over the top. So let me come up over here. Gee, I need to come this way a little bit. As always, don't apply too much pressure so you know you're in the right spot, and then you can just use the squeegee to pull it home. Okay. You can use the squeegee to work down any gaps as well, just to get everything looking nice and even. Okay, now for the buttons. Obviously there's 4. Your alignment point on these are the light slots, so they're pretty straightforward to do. Just take the first one. I just hover it over the top, kind of get over the top of it. Once you see the little white line coming through there, just grab that, roll it down on this side, and then sort of hold the button and just grab it and use your finger on this side as well. It's just to stop the window going crazy while you're doing it, doesn't really matter. And then we're just going to repeat that for all of the others.
You went all the way around on the button.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're trying to avoid any sort of exposed corners where the vinyl can get turned up after a while. When I went to look at this file, it was first created in August, so this is the project of 7 or 8 months. And that's because the first ones with the kids, kind of the corners on the buttons just got turned up eventually. So now we cover the whole thing to avoid that. And back to same thing, just kind of hunt out the little dash, sort of dab it into place, make sure it looks good and square. And then the last one. Kind of look for your alignment all around as well with all the other decals. Okay, one last squeegee. That's that piece done. Now the last piece. So up here, as I say, we provide the button decal. This goes on the same as all the others. Just look for the dash and line it up with that. It's actually that way around. And then this piece that goes around the outside of the button in this orientation. This is the fiddliest piece because it's long, it's skinny, and lots of stretchy bits. So just go slow. Be especially careful not to stretch the vinyl, especially around the button opening. Just kind of let it lay in place. If it doesn't quite go in the right spot the first time, just be very gentle as you lift it. Then we kind of just want to let it relax into its spot around the button. Don't let it crease. And then this bit, you may just need to sort of pull this around a little bit. Again, it's vinyl, so you can encourage it around some of these bends. That's okay. You can see that it's quite scrubby at the moment, but we're going to tuck it in around the door trim and it'll be good. So again, get your squeegee, just tuck that in there. Make sure you squeegee the rest of it as well. And coming down here. And just tuck that bit in there as well. So these are the most fiddly bits. This is likely where you're going to need your spare piece. just because around this button it gets very stretched very easily. Alright, so that's the driver's door. We're going to work around the other doors. Won't show you how to clean it, you've got that, but we'll just show you how to put the vinyl on. Alright, so here we are. We're going to start with these pieces here. We're going to start with the main window switch and then go to the switches, and again this top piece as well, which is a little easier on the passenger side or on the rear doors just because it's a bit wider. So we'll grab this piece. So your points of reference here are going to be the window, the button basically, and then just like on the front on the driver's door where it kind of breaks, so where the handle here, got some old vinyl stuck down here. So just where that corner kind of breaks between the handle grab and the softer trim. And take your time. You definitely want the button lined up well, just because, again, any kind of edges, you don't want to be able to feel any edges when it's in place, because they'll eventually get picked up. Okay. Just kind of help that home a little bit. And just put it around this front edge with your hand. Then we're going to grab the squeegee. Again, just make sure you get all the little bubbles out, even if you can't see them. We're using the carbon fibre finish here. This is the most popular option. It's the easier one as well, because it's a heavier vinyl. But that does mean you can't see the bubbles all the time as well, so just make sure you get them all out. And then can just kind of a last double check on your positioning, but you should be able to kind of put your finger in here and not catch any of the edges of the vinyl. If you can, then eventually that vinyl will just start to lift, and that's not good. So this is why you really need to focus on getting this bit in the right spot. Then we'll grab the button. Just like on the other ones, just want to kind of just sort of drag it across the top. And when it's centered on everything, just put a bit of pressure on it. And then wrap that around there. It's annoying when that happens. And then just grab your squeegee just to tuck any around there. Alright, and then the last two bits. So again, this top piece, we provide the vinyl decal if you want it for the button, and then this piece as well. I'm going to grab that. I'm going to sit in the car, and again, just sort of take your time with this piece, be as gentle as you can. It's actually difficult to get a position. You see this front piece here is wanting to just not sit straight. And that kind of screws up the rest of it, so it's better now. And sort of using your fingers, just sort of guide this top section around a little bit, use the flexibility of the vinyl. And then same for this piece, you may just need to encourage it a little bit, and then grab your squeegee, tuck it in, push it between the trim, just to make sure it goes all the way home. Okay. Alright, we'll move on to the other rear door. Okay, same thing over here, just in reverse or mirrored. So we'll grab this piece first. We've cleaned it already, and we're again just looking to get the button properly lined up. Sort of more important than anything else. You get that, and then everything else should just fall into place pretty much. Just a little bit warmer out here than I prefer. So the vinyl's a little too flexible.
What do you suggest for somebody in a warmer climate? Should they cool the car? with the vinyl inside?
Yeah, you definitely don't want to do this in sunshine if you can help it. But yeah, if the vinyl's kind of pre-cooled in the car, that's a great way of making it just a little less flexible. Flexible can be good sometimes, just for this. These are quite complicated shapes, so you don't want it doing its own thing too much. Okay, so we've got it basically in place. We're just going to pull this end around, tuck that under there. As always, just use the squeegee just to work it out. Make sure you get all the bubbles, and then just tuck it across the back there, get behind the trim. If it comes out with the squeegee, it doesn't matter, just kind of push it back down, then just sort of slide the squeegee out until you've got a good straight line across the back there. All right, last window control for the back. So same thing, just get right over the top, sort of drag it around until you see the little dash of light. Stand clear because you're probably going to shoot the window straight into your face as you do this. And then just this awkward top piece again. Same thing, start with this piece here. We'll get that kind of squared away, try not to stretch it at all. Okay, and sort of just let it find its own place to sit down, and then just bring this top piece over. Grab the squeegee again, use that to work it in. If you get any creases, they're probably going to be down here, so you can use a hairdryer or something just to kind of soften the vinyl, and then the squeegee should just work it straight out. That'll work better with the texture finishes, like the carbon fibre, black or white, the matrix, and to a slight lesser extent the brush finishes. The satin white is going to be the most difficult for this job, just because it's a little more floppy, so it's just not quite as easy to get in place. Okay. Last door, this is the passenger side. Kind of a hybrid between the driver and the rear doors. Obviously we have the manual release, but just the one switch. So we're going to use this as the main guide again. And then all the other pieces are pretty much the same. So just pull that away. So I keep saying it, but we're sort of looking at 3 alignment points for this one. So right here where the handle meets the soft trim, the button opening obviously, and then you've got the manual release on this piece as well. Okay. So do that same test, kind of move your finger around the opening just to make sure that you're not going to catch any vinyl. You can see that's sitting pretty well. Squeegee. Okay, use your thumb to bring that around. Tuck in across the trim there. Okay. If you have any surplus around the button, just use the soft squeegee just to sort of tuck it in between. And then we're going to grab the manual release, another square piece. It's symmetrical, so it doesn't really matter which way you put it on. But again, just get over the top and line it up on the button, but also take into account where your vinyl is as well, existing vinyl. So you kind of want it to be symmetrical all around. All right, wrap that piece over. Grab the button, hover over the top, find your little white dash. Fold that over. And then just this last little piece on top. Again, get that leading edge, just let it just sit down over the button opening. Okay, this bit, so we'll pull it around the top a little bit. And as always, use the squeegee to work it between the trim. We just need to grab that piece there. All right, and that's it. So all we've got left on our piece here are just the 4 buttons we didn't use because we're using our button decals. But don't forget, get a whole spare piece. You just need to weed it yourself, and we'll cut to the lab just to show you how to do basic weeding in a second. Thanks for watching. Okay, real quick, I'm going to show you what we mean by weeding. So on the bench here we've got, this is the brushed steel, so this is fully weeded. So basic definitions, what's left, like the important bits, what we call the positive space, and all the negative space is what we weed out. This is a weeding tool that we normally use, so right here you can see we've got a carbon fibre that's not weeded, so you just kind of grab a piece of that and then just kind of keep on going through and sort of picking out the little bits. But you can see that some of them are a little bit fiddly, but easy enough to do. So we'll ship you one piece that's unweeded, and you can either, on the assumption you don't have a weeding tool, you've probably got a craft knife or something like that, just something with a point on it you can use just to sort of dig out the corner of the vinyl and just weed it away. It's not too difficult, but that's it. That's what weeding means.